Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Carnegie Connection. It is such a pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon. I am located in Des Moines, where we are having lots of thunderstorms. It is a very eerie afternoon, feels very Halloweeny. So hopefully either the sun is shining where you are or you are enjoying the rain, because that's always a good thing too. So it is great to be here with you. My name is Annie Kramer, and I am a senior director here at Carnegie. And I am so pleased to be here with Ross Simmonds, who is the CEO of Foundation Marketing. And if you were wondering if you were in the right session, if you are looking for the role of content marketing amidst algorithms and AI, you, my friend, are in the right place. So we are so happy to have you with us. Before we jump in to our session, this afternoon, I just want to share a couple of quick housekeeping items. The first of which is if you have questions for Ross throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the Q&A function. It's at the bottom of the Zoom bar. It's the one with the two conversation bubbles that says Q&A. And then the second, there is also the chat feature, but we'd prefer if you can to use the Q&A function instead of the Wahoo app or the chat function here. If you have questions throughout the session or having trouble with anything, please feel free to reach out to us at conferences@carnegiehighereducation.com, or in the Whova app, you can access a section that says Ask Organizers Anything, and we can help you there. And I think, the other thing is this is being recorded, so you may want to know that as well. And by the end of next week, we will have this for you to view or to share out with any colleagues that you may want to. And certainly throughout the connection, whether it's later this afternoon or tomorrow for the remainder of the sessions, if you want to tweet out or put on LinkedIn or any social channels, anything that you learned today, please use hashtag the connection and tag at Carnegie HQ, and we'll make sure that we see it there, which is fantastic. So as I mentioned, we are here with Ross Simmonds. Ross is actually, if any of you have been to the Carnegie conference in Orlando, you may have seen him. So some of you might be back because you are big fans. I've seen Ross present before, and he's fantastic and does really wonderful work. So this is a great place to be. No doubt will be a wonderful learning opportunity for all of us. So Ross, without further ado, I will hand it over to you.
Annie, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
It means the world. Folks, I am super excited to be here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to really empower your organizations, your teams with the power of AI. And I asked a very important question via the Whova apps, and I want to say thank you to those who responded. It was very enlightening and insightful to see some of the responses around how often people were using AI. And today, my goal is simple. I want to help you understand how it can be utilized, how it can be leveraged, how you can leverage it to drive better results for your institution, your organization at large, but also show you some trends, some tools, and some things that might make you think a little bit differently around how AI can be used. Now, I need to start this presentation by addressing something that has impacted a lot of us, and it is the fact that over the course of all of our lives, we have been lied to. And one of the lies that I've been told for a very long time, and a lie that just recently started to get debunked, was the idea that bubblegum, when you swallow it, will stick in your stomach for up to 7 years. I thought this was true for a very long time. It was a lie. My parents told me this, and I truly believed it to be true, but it was not accurate. Another lie that I was told that I found out way too late in life, literally a few years back, was the idea that if you drive around with your dome light on, you won't actually go to jail. I actually thought that if you drove around with your dome light on, you could get a ticket. You could get arrested. It was so bad. I've made the shift from Mini Cooper to minivan, and I was driving around with all my kids, and one of my daughters, she put her hand on the light and it turned on, and I was like, Aaliyah, turn that off, because I thought literally that you could go to jail for that. That was a lie. It's not true. Here's another lie though. Here's a lie that some of you, if you're in communications, if you're in marketing, if you're in branding and storytelling, you may have fell victim to as well. And that is the lie that AI written content will never drive results, that AI written content, AI imagery, AI images, all of these things are bad and they'll never work. Google can tell, your customers can tell, all of this stuff is trash. It's not good. That is a lie. It is also a lie when people say that AI isn't going to take anybody's job. I wish that I could say, no, it's not. I wish I could say, yes, everybody is safe. We are clear. We are in the clear. AI is not coming for any of our jobs. But in reality, there's no question that AI is fundamentally changing the way that we all work. AI is fundamentally changing industry after industry after industry. And for that reason, I believe more of us need to truly spend time thinking about how AI is impacting our colleagues, our peers, the way that we work, our efficiencies, our productivity, all of those things. It's becoming more and more relevant. And my goal today is not to scare you. My goal today is not to strike fear into the way that you think of marketing and growth, the way that you think about AI as a part of the mix. My goal is simply to give you insight into the realities of how this technology is changing the way that we work, to give you insights into how you can leverage it, but to also give you insights into how you can navigate this new age of AI. Prior to me putting together this presentation, I was on a website called Suno. And Suno is Suno, Suno.com. And it essentially gives you the ability to create music with just AI, where you can go in and you can say that I would like to create a song on a certain topic, and in the matter of seconds, it will give it to you. Now, unfortunately, I do have a feeling that the video and the song itself didn't work. I will send it to you afterwards, though, because it literally was able, within the matter of seconds, tell you and talk about the fact that you were here on October 30th, Connections Conference, all of these things, and I'm going to share it with you because it will blow your mind. Folks, my goal here today is simple. I want you to challenge your beliefs and embrace experimentation. And my hope today is that that is what you will leave here with, that you will start to see that with AI, there has been an increasing rise of brands being able to leverage it to be successful. And there's also an opportunity for you to consider how it can be a part of your day-to-day mix. How often is AI showing up in job postings? More than ever before. When you look at AI, there's no question that this trend is taking off. It is, for the first time, showing up as a concern across the globe, as being surpassing even immigration concerns. Like, AI is fundamentally changing the way that people view the world at large. And my hope today is simple. I want you to recognize that AI isn't something that you should be scared of, but it is something that you can embrace. I want to give you a case study on an organization that tinkered with AI. And in the public eye, they failed. But there's a lot more behind the surface. I want to talk to you about a company called CNET. CNET is an organization that has been around for decades. They create content focused on high value, highly sensitive topics like money. And according to Google, if you're talking about these topics, you better have your things together. You better be covering this content with accuracy, with expertise, and with authority. And CNET decided that they were going to create hundreds of pieces of content using ChatGPT. So that's what they did. They went live and they published all of these pieces. And guess what? There were errors found in tons of them. Error after error after error. And what did the internet do? What did the marketers do? What did the writers do? The journalists? They applauded. Well done, humans. We are safe. Congratulations. We did it. We are always going to have jobs. That was the response. And for good reason, right? Like this was a huge investment. This was a huge deal with organizations like BuzzFeed laying off their journalists to use AI. There was no question that this seemed like a massive failure. My alias is this concept that I like to call Sherlock Homeboy. And Sherlock Homeboy went on the case and decided that I was going to analyze and figure out whether or not these AI-generated pieces of content that they produced actually drove results. So I pulled out some of our favorite SEO and marketing tools to better understand how much traffic were they actually generating, how much traffic were they capturing. And it turned out quite a bit. Millions of visits to these AI-generated pieces every single year. Thousands of backlinks, media mentions, and more. The total value of the traffic in the millions. Lots of value captured on the back of AI-generated content. So you might be wondering, okay, I'm not seeing it. How do I tap into that? Well, you first start by recognizing that AI should be a part of your marketing mix. There's this concept in a lot of spaces where they say like AI is not going to be able to replace how sophisticated my job is. AI is not going to be able to do it. But Bloomberg had this idea, and I truly do believe it's real. AI is going to do to white collar jobs what robotics is long done to blue collar. And what we need to do as marketers, as creators, as storytellers is really emphasize one simple factor. And that is that I don't want AI to necessarily replace us, But I do want AI to augment us, to help us do more efficiently, more effectively, so we can focus on the things that are uniquely ours, uniquely connected to your brand story, your message, your skills, your talents, and allow AI to take on some of that repetitive, autonomous tasks that you don't want to take on. Folks, it's becoming more and more challenging than ever to win in our space, right? I was listening to the last conversation about the funnel and the journey for students, and there's no question that students are fragmented in the channels that they're consuming. They're not just Googling things anymore. They're looking at TikTok, they're looking at Instagram, they're looking at Reddit. And with all of these different things, the algorithms are changing every single day. It's chaotic, right? With the launch of AI overviews, Google is no longer a place that just sends people to these directories and these ranking sites. It's a destination in its own right, where the answers are happening right there. When you look at your teams and the way that they're structured, you're seeing some organizations replace the teams completely with ChatGPT. You can see budgets in marketing going down and down across organic strategies and technologies. People are reducing their budgets to invest in different channels and strategies. We have job descriptions in marketing that ask you to do SEO, to do email, community management, copywriting. The chaos is real. But when I ask people, all right, how many of you use AI to do more amidst this chaos? Not a lot of people raise their hand. People say they might use it weekly, monthly, once in a while, when in reality, this type of technology should truly be just like spell check, where it shows up in your work every single day. If I was to ask you, seriously, how many of you think you can beat an AI at chess? You probably wouldn't raise your hand. If I asked you, how many of you think you can beat AI at Sudoku? I hope you wouldn't raise your hand, because look at this, right? Like in the matter of seconds, an AI tool is able to look at that. You can't even read some of the numbers as fast as Sudoku is able to be completed by an AI. I don't know about you. I grew up in the 90s and books were a thing before ebooks and virtual swiping, all this stuff. And the Where Waldo's books were like my favorite. And I got my daughter one of the Where Waldo's books. She's reading it, et cetera. She loved it, et cetera. And then my wife comes in, she's like, I found this app where if you hold it over the book, it will find Waldo for you. I'm like, do not ruin my child's childhood, right? Because these are the things that they now have the ability to do. You can now find Waldo in seconds without having to spend all of your night trying to find out where he is. Let's do a quick test. I want you to tell me, I'm going to show you, and take a notepad right now. Pull out a notepad, open up a new doc. If you're already on a different browser, go back to this presentation, then open up a Google Doc. And I want you to keep track. Keep track of what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a picture just like what I'm showing now. I'm going to show you food, and I'm going to show you something else. And I want you to try to see how fast you can keep up with the number of things that I'm going to show you. How many muffins do you see versus chihuahuas? How many bagels do you see versus dogs? How many pieces of fried chicken versus puppies? How many sloths versus pastries? Because guess what? In that time that you were looking at the screen, the AI would have got it. 8 muffins, 6 bagels, 6 pieces of chicken, 8 pastries, and the AI wouldn't have gotten hungry doing it. They're not thinking about supper. They're just an AI, right? This is why everything is in turmoil. Things used to be so good, right? Weren't things so much better before the algorithms got so sophisticated, before everything was fragmented and AI was coming after? Like, things were much more chill back then, right? Now everybody has Barbie ambitions with Ken budgets, and you have to ask yourself, like, how do I win amidst all of this? Well, here's how. You win by embracing a simple framework that we believe works ridiculously well, no matter your space, no matter your size, no matter your organization. Research, creation, distribution, and optimization. And then sprinkle AI on top of all of that. If you can do that, I believe you will be able to win. And my hope today is to share with you strategies, techniques, and ideas that you can incorporate into your business to do it. The first thing is you want to leverage AI tools to do research. Let's say, for example, you are conducting a report. Let's say a report has been done. You can use AI today to read hundreds of pages within the matter of seconds and analyze and identify for you key trends that you should pick up out of those reports. That's ridiculously valuable. This type of work used to take a full day, sometimes weeks to do, where now you can upload it directly to ChatGPT. You can upload it directly to Claude, Perplexity, one of those tools. I would always encourage you to have the paid version just to make sure that nothing is leaking out into the public side. And then from there, you ask it to analyze that report. And then in the matter of seconds, you're going to get an answer. You're going to get an answer of all the details, all of the insights that make up that report, right? Let's say you're not that savvy as it relates to a certain field in marketing, whether it's PPC or SEO or whatever it might be. You can go to these tools that you might be using. Let's say you use Moz. Let's say you use SpyFu, one of these various tools. You can download that report, upload that report to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you an insight. Make it easy for me to understand what is going on in that report. Your marketing team is on vacation, your marketing team's on holiday, but you still need this insight to talk to the board. You can now use ChatGPT to do it in the matter of seconds, right? This is a low-hanging fruit opportunity that exists. Challenge your beliefs and embrace experimentation. Can you leverage these tools to be more efficient in your day-to-day? Now let's think about it from a creation lens. This is one of the areas that I get most excited about because this is the type of work that we do every single day. We support our partners with creating great content to be that first touch point, as well as support them in making a decision to apply for a university, to apply for a college, whatever it may be, creating that content. So how do you do that? Well, we start by recognizing the simple reality, which is that when students are doing their search, they're typically starting with search. So how can we show up in search? Well, you create content that shows up in search. So you have to create stories, you have to create content that is going to show up when they start to look for queries, look for questions that are related to your space, to your degrees, your university, your offering, etc. Again, in that last presentation, this slide was shown, and I want to double down on this just a second. Prospects say that career opportunities, courses, and financial aid are at the top of the things that they are looking for. This is gold. So when you see this type of an insight, what should you be doing? You should be saying, all right, how can we create content that helps our students understand career opportunities within our fields, within the offering that we have? So can you create these stories? Can you leverage technology to better understand what keywords they might be looking for to find them? Of course you can. You go into a keyword research tool and you might start to look for, okay, people are looking. Let's say, for example, I'm in an institution that offers a health science degree. I can go literally to a keyword research tool and find how many people are looking for the query, examples of jobs for health science degrees or health science degree career options, right? And I can see that there are literally more than 5,000 people every single month looking for that query. That means 5,000 people every single month are going to Google and typing those keywords in. And if you can create content that ranks for these keywords, then you're able to satisfy this intent, this idea that 58% of the students are starting with search engines. Now you have the ability to rank for it, right? This is where you want to show up. You can create content now that shows up when people are trying to understand the career opportunities associated with the degrees, the programs that you have. And then you can start to educate them on those options while also having content that talks about the way in which your institution can support them in achieving those goals, right? I want you to see here for a second the monetization element of this, right? The value of the traffic that is going to this URL at the top alone is worth $5,000 every month. You might say, okay, that's not a lot, but let me break down what that means. It means that every single month, if you wanted to capture the amount of traffic that URL generates, you would have to spend $5,000 worth of Google ads with Google ads on a monthly basis. So if you do 5 times 12, that's a decent amount of money being spent every single month to capture that amount of traffic. And you have the opportunity to create content that ranks organically and captures this. One single article is worth $70,000 worth of traffic. And if you can leverage tools, technology, and AI to better understand how can we create a piece of content that is so good that it surpasses and ranks above this URL, that is where you win. That is where you win today. By going out and identifying and leveraging AI to say, what other questions are people asking? People are asking, is a health science degree useful? What are the best career in health science? What's the best major in health science? These are all pieces of content that you could create. And it's all pieces of content that you could create even more efficiently now than ever before, thanks to AI. On the right-hand side, you see a tool called Phrase. It's one of our favorite tools. What it allows you to do is it analyzes within the SERP, which is the search engine results page, all of the pages, all of the content that shows up in Google, and it looks at all of the headers, all of the titles, all of the keywords, all of the phrases, and the structure in which shows up there. and it gives you an outline. Now, you know what this is? It's the beginning of a brief that then goes to a human who can craft a piece of content that is worth reading, that students will love, but also is now modified slightly to reflect your institution. That is the content gold. Now, some of you might be thinking, Ross, Google hates AI. AI is not good. Google will never rank it. Let's put on the Sherlock Homeboy lens again and dive deeper into this. And what you'll find is that Google doesn't actually say, do not use AI. Google says, ask yourself a few questions before you use it. Ask yourself whether or not AI needs to be disclosed. Ask yourself whether or not AI is something that you needed to use for this, or ask yourself if the content is still good. And if the answer is yes, then by all means, press publish. That's their response. Do you provide original insight? Do you provide research analysis and data that's good? Of course you do, because you're having a human take that brief, take the organic structure of that asset that is rooted and created in some ways with AI, but you're elevating it as well. And that's the approach. It's the approach that CNET used to capture all of that traffic. It's the same approach that companies like Bankrate use to capture hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of traffic. And it's the same practice that you can use as well. So how do you do it? We reverse engineered some of the most successful assets that were optimized with AI. And then we replicated this with our own clients time and time again to see the ROI. And there's a few things that stand out every single time. When we put on that Sherlock Homeboy methodology to say what drives results with AI optimized content, these are the 6 things: high editorial standards, multimedia assets incorporated within them, double lead authorship practices, reads like a human blog post, internal linking to different things like your pillar pages. Imagine, for example, if I'm creating a blog post about career, my boats are flaring up. Now you might realize I'm from Canada. The health sciences world. Let's say you have a pillar page on your site around that topic. On the posts that we talked about, all of those different questions, we're going to have links back to that piece. Now people will go to that, and that's where they might apply. They might show interest in your program, etc. Internal links. And then in some cases, elements of disclosure. This is the methodology, folks. But if you start that methodology with this simple framework around what we call the 4 E's, creating content that educates, engages, entertains, and empower people, there's no question that 1, Google will rank your content, and 2, that the people who land on it will be grateful that you created some stories that will help them make a decision that could fundamentally change their life. If I'm on a piece of content trying to figure out the career options of a health science degree, and you're able to support me in making the right decision, the brand goodwill that you establish with that prospect, with that potential student or that parent is unparalleled. And that is where you have the opportunity to win. And now, thanks to AI, you can do it even more effectively and more efficiently at scale. Folks, I know I talk about this stuff a lot, but when it comes to your space, when it comes to institutions, you would never decline the power of 900,000 people coming to your campus saying, I'm interested, right? If you were getting that many people who showed up, you would be intrigued. And that is the power of creating content at scale. If you can create content at scale, where you're talking about and creating pieces that increase the number of rivers, essentially, where people can flow into your stream, into your funnel, then you can see hundreds of thousands of net new visitors to your site, right? And if that number sounds too wild, I'm okay with that too. Let's say 10,000 people. If 10,000 people showed up, would you be excited? Of course you would. So those are the things that you have the opportunity to do to create content. And what also becomes interesting is the fact that amidst all of this chaos, folks, amidst all of the chaos going on around us, with the generational cliff happening, with people who's having like all of the things going on, we have to ask ourselves, okay, how can we establish a bit of stability? Well, people are still searching things, and people will forever continue to search things online. In fact, the number of people using Google to look for things isn't going down, it's going up. Like, we're still seeing more and more people search for things, but there is a diversified way in which people are searching now. You can actually create content today that captures value that will give you savings. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for example, you're spending money on PPC. That's great. What if you can rank not only with your PPC data or your PPC budget, but also with your organic? So you now show up multiple times in one query. That's the opportunity, folks. This is the same thing that we've done time and time again. whether it's with our partners, whether it's for our own site. We've leveraged AI to create images, to create content, to optimize our content, to elevate it, to rank, and the response is always the same. This is such a thorough rundown. Thank you so much. We appreciate this. This is great. This is an interesting read. You can do that if you embrace AI. Let me share with you another way that it can be done at scale. Let's say you take a handful of different keywords and queries that you're interested in. You can take that doc into a spreadsheet. You can upload that to Google, to ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to turn that into a spreadsheet for you. You always say please and thank you because you don't want the AI to come and get you. And then you say, thank you so much for sending that to me. I appreciate it. You download that spreadsheet. You can then take that spreadsheet and upload it to a tool called copy.ai. In copy.ai, you are essentially creating an agent. An AI agent is essentially a content marketer that doesn't actually exist and doesn't get tired. They will look at the content in the spreadsheet that you've uploaded. It will generate subtopics. It will identify data sources for you. It will identify story ideas for you, and it will compile an outline for you and then write blog posts based off of that outline. That is the workflow that you're able to create. Within all of that, you're able to give it roles. Like you can tell it, I want you to pretend that you're a data journalist. You can tell it that you want to pretend that it is a great blog writer, a content creator, SEO, whatever it may be. And in the matter of seconds, or minutes, I lied, 5 minutes, not seconds, minutes, you have hundreds of pieces of content created. Now, I'm not telling you, go press publish on these. That's not what I'm telling you at all. Don't tweet that. Don't put that on LinkedIn because that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that you will get a very early draft, a draft that you can now take and start to optimize, that you can improve, that you can elevate with a few hours of time, take that piece and turn it into something special. And then you can incorporate images within it and make it very great, right? This all can be done now at scale, way more efficiently than ever before. That's just one of the tools. I wanted to give you folks all of my tools, but I didn't have enough slides to do it. If you go to this URL, take a screenshot, check out the recording, and then get it, whatever works for you. Take a QR code. You go to this URL, type in connections, and you can get a free list of 30 of my favorite AI tools. Some of the ones I've already talked about, and a few more that I'm going to share again. All right, folks, challenge your beliefs, embrace experimentation. That's the goal today. Anyone familiar with this ad? I know it's getting close to supper time for some of you, so I apologize for showing you a moldy burger, but Burger King showed this. And when they did it, when they created this ad, it was intentionally meant to say like, our burgers get moldy. The McDonald's burgers don't. And they got tons of press, tons of media. But to create this, they actually had to hire a photographer. They had to hire a photographer. They had to get a bunch of burgers and waste a bunch of food and take photos of moldy burgers. I didn't have to do that. What do you mean I didn't have to do that? That's not the ad, folks. Those are just moldy burgers that I created using a tool called Midjourney. I used Midjourney and then I mocked that up and I spun it together in the matter of minutes, right? That's the original over there. But some of you all thought that that was a real moldy burger. That is the power of AI with visuals today. You can go to AI tools today and I can say, I want a student to be excited about the news that they're going to be a Florida Gator. And guess what I get? I get those visuals. I get a bunch of them. And guess how long it took me to do it? Seconds. And guess what? If I want new ones, if I want revisions, if I want updates, if I want a different aesthetic, if I want someone to look different or to have a different background, I can tell the AI to make that happen without engaging a photographer, without actually going there physically. I can do this. Now, am I telling you all to start using these? Kind of, but not really. There's still some flexibility here, right? Like there's still some legalities here as well. So what I would recommend is that if you are at least thinking of mock-ups and ideas and trying to bring creative to life, don't be afraid to leverage these tools to at least start your vision, to start creating the vision around what you want to develop. If I want to have pictures of students at Stanford, I don't no longer need to use a stock photo site to go and get these pictures. I can now go to a tool like Midjourney, Add Creative, etc., and have them created in the matter of seconds, right? That is feasible. And before you say, oh, but Ross, you can't get real good creative here. You're not going to get there's never going to be good creative that comes out of these AI tools. Let me share with you the fact that on Kickstarter today, there are literal films. I don't know how many of you are creating ads and movies and creative that are at the film level of brilliance, but these are films that are being funded today that are literally just created on the back of AI. So the creative idea still lives with the human, don't get me wrong, but the vision and the idea itself is being brought to life through AI and funded on the back of it as well. There are literal comics that are ranking #1 in Amazon that are 100% written with AI. The coloring books that you see on Amazon today, for the most part, a lot of them are all created with AI. So we can no longer say that these tools can't unlock creative excellence. They can. And they can also help you distribute that excellence well, which is what I want to talk about today. Distribution. If you have a podcast, if you have invested in video content, if you have invested in audio content, do not let that content die. Do not allow that episode that aired 2 months ago, 6 months ago to just collect dust. AI makes it so easy to go and listen to that podcast, to identify key moments within that podcast and then repurpose it, to find key moments in a blog post that you and your team might have created, to repurpose it, to redistribute it, right? Summarize.tech is one great tool that allows you to do it. If you're on X, for example, that tool you can still take a long form video and turn it into different clips and social clips. Do not allow your content to live and die the day in which it goes live. Repurpose it, reshare it, reuse it, and recognize that the people who are online today aren't the same people who happened to be online 2 months ago when you launched that brilliant campaign. Reuse it, repurpose it, reshare it. The same can be said with blog content. That blog post that you created in January is still relevant in January 2025. Do not be afraid to repurpose and reshare your content. There's a tool called Runway ML, which allows you to make imagery just way more dynamic and engaging, where you can upload a photo and in the matter of seconds, it will turn that photo into a video. For example, I shared with you earlier that picture of me in a car. You can see slightly animation in this graphic today. I am confident that by the year 2030, we will see AI create a full feature film. There's a tool called distribution.ai. I am very biased because I am the founder of this tool, but I want you to check it out as well, where we take blog content, we take audio content, video content, etc., and repurpose it using AI tools. Still in waitlist, we're still in the early beta, but check it out. Strongly encourage you to check it out, as it's a great way to distribute your content in a matter of seconds with AI. 11 Labs is a great tool that allows you to create a synthetic voice. So while all of you have been watching this, you might be wondering, okay, is this really Ross? It is, but you can use 11 Labs to create a synthetic version of your voice. I have an episode on my podcast, Create Like the Greats, where it's me being interviewed by an AI. There's also an episode, I'll see if you can find it, that isn't actually me. It's all AI. And people have commented saying, I love this episode, but it's not me. Well, kind of, but not really. This is a combination of two tools that I find very powerful, DID and 11 Labs, where you can create a deepfake version of yourself, combine it with your synthetic voice, and have some amazing content. I shared this video of myself on X, and then I recreated it with a tool called HeyGen, and I showed my mom 2 videos, a video of me talking into a camera as a human, and then I created an AI version, and I showed her both. And I said, Mom, which one's me? And guess which one she picked? The AI. Folks, we are living in a very wild time. I believe podcasts are going to be hosted by AI. YouTube channels are going to be owned and run by AI. There's actual AI influencers that are already taking over Instagram that people don't even realize aren't real. We are going to be seeing a massive shift in culture over the next few years. So challenge your beliefs, but embrace experimentation. When it comes down to this, I want to share with you another simple idea and practical example of how this all works. You can use ChatGPT to get inspiration around a bunch of different topics. I took a bunch of my tweets and I said, turn those into 75 more. And then I said, ChatGPT, I'm going to take that and turn it into a spreadsheet, which I then uploaded to Canva. And I told Canva, I want you to create a handful of different images using all of these quotes. And then in the matter of seconds, I went out and I found an image that I thought might be better suited than this boring one that just had somebody holding their arm. And then Midjourney told me what this would look like for a prompt. I told them that I wanted to make it look a little bit more like me. They created a bunch of these graphics. We scheduled those to go out on social. In the matter of 20 minutes, we had 18,000 impressions just from 20 minutes worth of work. That is the power of these tools, folks. Some of you might be thinking still, Ross, but that's not going to get us quality visits to traffic. Folks, there are literal YouTube channels that have over 230,000 subscribers that are simply quotes. Just quotes, right? This is happening today, folks. This is happening today. You can see YouTube channels like Khan's Den, where this is intended to just be an educational video. I love history, and I got lost watching these videos where they're just taking people into the history of different tribes and groups of people and telling the story. 27,000 subscribers, and guess what? The entire script is written with ChatGPT. All of the images that you see in this video is created with Midjourney, and this content is absolute gold. Challenge your beliefs and embrace experimentation, folks. The final step is optimization. There are AI tools today that can help you create content that ranks and drives positive outcomes for students, potential students, for parents who want their kids to take a degree in sustainability, all of these things. And you now have the ability to better understand, using AI tools, what you need to do to make that content great, to make that content rank, and to outrank brands that shouldn't show up in the first place, right? This is where you can win. You can go out and you can say, I want to rank for sustainability in business. Let's say that you offer a program in that field. You now can create a landing page and a blog post, optimize it. You can get a tool like Phrase, which will analyze what's showing up in the ranking today and help you create a great piece. Again, I know I've dropped a lot of tools. If you want them, go to this URL, download this free list of 30 different AI tools that I use every single day that I believe in 2025 are going to change the world. I also want to talk about GEO, because GEO is generative engine optimization. Keep track of that word, do a quick Google search. You'll probably find a piece that I wrote on that topic, but it's essentially how to optimize the outputs from a generative engine, right? When you look at the results for what are the best universities to go to in the Midwest, if you're looking to ensure you get a career in physiotherapy, this is the list. How do you influence this? How do you make this change? Well, you change that by creating a bunch of content like I talked about that is high authority, but then you also use GEO. And GEO is the idea of optimizing your content for a few key different elements like expertise, experience, authority, and trust. Then you do it at scale. Folks, this is the same playbook that we've run at Foundation time and time again, that we've run with ourselves, our clients, our partners, etc. And you can essentially start to use these tools to have the superpowers of a great marketing team. You can even upload your content and say, hey, can you read this and give us some SEO recommendations? And they'll be decent. Don't get me wrong. I still believe that you need to have partners to support you with a lot of these initiatives. But AI can give you so many cheat codes. It can give you so many opportunities to really put marketing back into this world of content marketing and to give you the calm that is required to thrive in the chaos. Folks, imagine a new way of creating. Imagine a new way of working that is more efficient, that drives results, that moves the needle, and is rooted not just in your gut instinct and in your feelings, but in data. If you can do that, you will win. I have a whiteboard Friday that I recorded with a company called Moz a few years back that talks about how to evolve your workflows for this stuff. I encourage you to check it out. Let me leave you with this one simple video.
We're entering an era when our competitors can make it look like anyone is doing anything at any point and any time. So, for example, my competitors might have me say something like, SEO is dead, or Google is allowed to plagiarize, but no one else is. Or even AI is going to take all of our jobs, and this is the end of the road. You see, I would never say these things. Definitely not on a public stage. Folks, this is a dangerous time. We need to be more diligent in what we trust on the internet. So how we move forward in the age of artificial intelligence is going to be important. It's going to be key for our industry. Better yet, humanity. Thank you all. See you on the internet.
Folks, I hope today something that I shared will stick with you longer than bubblegum does. I appreciate your time. I hope you got value from this conversation. Thank you, and shout out to Carnegie for giving me the opportunity to share once again. Major kudos to all of you for showing up and taking the time out of your day to learn, because it's from these lessons that you're going to be able to have a meaningful impact on your institutions, your organizations, and the peers that you work with every single day. Thank you so much. Annie, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Yeah, we have some questions, but I just want you to know that I was really trying to hold myself back from like blowing up the chat with like things I thought you said that were brilliant and also very funny, and some mind-blowing things starting out with the bubble gum. Like I 100% still maybe believe that till this moment.
Right?
I just
Never
need
know.
you to know that.
Never know.
But how do we know you're not real and just, AI telling us that
True.
maybe it's fake news. We don't know. No,
True.
I'm kidding. No, but you were amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This is certainly a testament to why You have presented at many things for Carnegie over the years, and we are just so grateful to have you. So we've got just a few things, and I also really wanted to in real time, like slow down what you were saying, because I normally want to speed things up and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't catch that, or I needed to go back to that screenshot. But fear not, folks, because the recording of this is coming to you at the end of next week. But you are getting a ton of love in the chat. So I just hope you can feel all that virtually from everybody. So we do have a couple of questions, and I imagine that there will be more. And just a reminder, if you do have questions, throw them in the Q&A little button in there, because that's helpful. It's easy for me to find them there. So we do have a question. Michaela is going to kick us off, and she said, how are you seeing the latest Google algorithm update? And then she put in parentheses, August 24, impacting traffic on AI generated content.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've believed from the beginning is that AI generated content was a quick, let's all do it scheme, where if you didn't have human touch, it was a race to the bottom. And that has shown true. All of our partners, we always had a human editor review a piece before it went live. And that human editor's role is to optimize that piece to make sure that we have strong links, multimedia assets, it's storytelling, it's rich, it's engaging, it's educational, empowering, all of these things. And because of that, the traffic has continued to rise. In fact, some of our partners are getting even more traffic because we leaned heavily in getting actual like academics to have a quote on their page, to have like their voice a part of the story, which Google loves. That's why you all have such a massive advantage, to be honest. Like if your domains are so strong, your reputation is strong. So tap into that, because you can surpass the brands that are currently beating you in the SERP. So the long story to a short question is, if you can stay true to adding value, educational, engaging, entertaining, and leverage AI just to be like able to create your drafts faster, that's where you win. That's the chef's kiss.
Fantastic. All right, I've got a couple more coming in. So from Yvette, she asked, AI can't do what we can do, but we are teaching AI to do more than what we do. So what happens if we make it too smart? Is there a limit? Is there a tipping point where
100%? There is a point where AI is going to be able to do what everyone can do. And I think that today AI is better than the average marketer, the average creator, the average writer, right? Like, and you have to remember, like, average is a lot. There's still like a lot of people in that middle. So because of that, where you need to be is you need to leverage AI to be better than what is average. And over time, is AI going to catch up? Possibly. It can already beat us at chess. It can beat us at Go. It can beat us at all of these games. Like Google just announced the other day that 25% of all code that they publish is written using AI now. But one of the things that AI will never replace is that human touch. AI cannot replace that face-to-face interaction. It cannot replace that conversation. It cannot replace the one-to-one human engagement and dialogue around shared stories and life experiences. It can't do that. And because of that, an AI can't even get as excited as I am on this conversation with you, right? Like the AI can't do that. And that's where you still win. That's where people will forever be, in my opinion, unstoppable. If we can stay human, then we win. But the AI will be able to make being human a lot easier, to be honest, because I think we can focus on the things that we should focus on.
Absolutely. Okay. Another question from Tracy. I feel a little bit like I'm like a Dear Abby, like, okay, coming in from Chicago, here's so-and-so. Okay. So Tracy said, thoughts on AI checkers. It seems to flag everything is written by AI, even when it's original content.
Yeah. Say it again. I'm trying to.
She said, thoughts on AI checkers. So I don't know if this is like an evaluation of whether or not. And then she said, it seems to flag everything as written by AI, even when it's original content.
It does. Like, if you upload like Shakespeare to an AI checker, it says that it was written by AI. I don't think AI checkers are accurate. It's impossible, because AI, like I said, has gotten to a point now where it's indistinguishable. So we can put in all of the policies in place to say like, oh yes, we know that this is written by AI. And there are some clues, right? Like if something says the word delve over and over and over again, probably AI. If it starts every sentence with in the ever evolving, ever changing world of, probably AI. But let's be real. you can't assume that AI can pick up the nuances of an AI today because it's just evolving so quickly, where the technology is just too advanced. So I don't buy the AI checkers personally.
Love that. You heard it here, folks, just so you know. All right. And then another question from Carrie. Any tips on how to convince higher ed leadership that using AI to contribute to our work is okay when it's considered an academic dishonesty for students on our campuses? Ooh, mindset change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, and I think what it comes down to is really bringing data to the conversation. Um, if you can bring data around how it improves efficiencies, how it improves your ability to do deliverables and to execute tasks, then it shouldn't really be that much of a discussion. And the same way that you showed up today to get educated, leadership needs to show up to get educated too. This is a fundamental shift in the way that we operate as people, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I would encourage you to share links with leadership. Try to educate leadership. Don't feel like leadership views it as evil because they've done their work to figure that out. Recognize that they just have their own biases, and those biases need to be challenged. So you have to play that game a little bit carefully and delicately. But I encourage everyone to try to educate and go into it with that open mind of recognizing that this tool can allow you to do more with less. And if you are a smaller institution, there's no question that you should be trying to tap into this technology, because it's through this technology where you'll be able to do what some of the larger folks can with bigger budgets and bigger scopes at a much rapid rate.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of reminds me of like when you think about your office and you think about the things, maybe roles and responsibilities that people have, certainly of core functions for whether you're on the marketing side or you're on the enrollment side of things. And as projects come down the pike, you might be sought after for one thing or another. But this is a great area for you to carve out for yourself, both from certainly your own professional development that you can use long term, but you never know what opportunities you'll be sought after for if you are able to come in from a space of how can I educate my peers? What resources might I be able to share with my colleagues? I love what you said, sharing this up with leadership, but also my guess is no one on your teams right now may be owning this space. And is this a space you can own? I think about when Slate first came on the scene and it was like, okay, who can help with that? And the people that volunteered for themselves. Just think about how, and I know using Slate as an example, but I've seen people in real time create careers for themselves in these spaces that didn't exist before. And of course, AI is a great example of that and will continue to be a great example, but higher ed isn't always the fastest, as we all know, for change. But can you be that catalyst in your office? How can you educate yourself? Even if you just get on some, I'm sure, Ross, you obviously probably have a newsletter or a way that you can go and educate yourself. And then how can you share those things out with other peers and get more comfortable? Because it is a place where you probably are uncomfortable at first, but once you get better at it, you will then be sought after as a resource internally. And then that's energizing in itself. But I love what you shared. I think it was, you got some comments, even from someone that just said you were just such an incredibly infectious speaker and very passionate about the topic. So it was just fun to listen to you. And I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to double check, make sure that I'm not missing anything. But what I would love to share is that, again, as a reminder, oh my gosh, great. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog is like,
Can't hear it.
it's great. Fabulous. Okay. So one of the things, again, we have a full day tomorrow. So we'll very much look forward to welcoming you all back for sessions tomorrow. And if you enjoyed today and you want to share out with your colleagues, there's still time for them to attend if there are some sessions that you think would be a good fit for them. If you have any questions for us, of course, you can email us, as I mentioned before, at the start of the session at conferences@carnegiehighereducation.com. and or go into the Woohoo app and ask your questions there in the community. And then if you have, if you are done with your day, I hope you have an excellent Wednesday, an excellent evening. And again, Ross, you are fantastic. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time that you gave to us all this afternoon. I walked away with some really, really great tidbits, and I know the team or everyone here is feeling the same. So
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.